Greetings. If you're in transition, questioning your identity or purpose, this episode is your cosmic permission. Slip to trust who you're becoming. Let me repeat that because I think it bears repeating and my words were blubbing. If you're in transition, questioning your identity or purpose, this episode is your cosmic permission slip to trust who you are becoming. Because my girl Hallie has got the answers for you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you, Selena.
So good to be here.
Yes.
Well, darling, let's just get into it. My first question for you is, how do you show up in the world?
Of course, I immediately think of it astrologically these days.
Tell us more.
I show up in the world. How do I show up in the world? I show up in the world with usually a lot of energy and a lot of emotions. That's kind of my thing.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. There's fire and water over here, both of us. Yeah.
Yes. And so a lot of emotion. And where do you think that comes from? The fiery energy and the emotion.
I think some of the emotion, I don't know. I was just talking to my therapist about this yesterday, actually.
Imagine.
Getting deeper and deeper. Um, I think the energy is part of who I am and also comes from a lot of encouragement growing up. Um, the emotion, that's God-given for sure.
Mm,
Yeah.
God-given for sure, the emotion. And are you comfortable with it? Because I know some people aren't comfortable with their emotions, so I'm curious.
It's a very good question. I am very comfortable with it. I'm more comfortable with it than I was, and I probably could be more comfortable with it than I am. But
Mm.
I've worked on it a lot to be fully comfortable with it. And the first way in was my, kind of first life obsession was in the theater and acting. And
Mm.
so I have training in that, and that was my first way into accepting emotion because not only is it accepted, but it's encouraged, right?
Yeah, you gotta bring it all to the stage and emote, you know, that character. My son is an actor,
Is
so
he?
quite a bit. Yeah, he's been out in LA since he left college.
Oh,
Yeah, doing this thing.
wow.
Yeah. Well, so how did that acting, astrology, how did we get there?
Yeah, it's a great question. I just posted our link on my Facebook. That's what I was just doing. Yay!
Well, fantastic.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited to talk to you. Let me just say, like, you're amazing, and I love listening to you, and you just drop so many bits of wisdom, and I just soak it all in. I'm so excited to have this conversation. Acting astrology. Yeah, it's so funny. To me, they actually have like more similarities than one might think because astrology, and I'll tell you how I got there, but astrology, I almost think of it as like narrative therapy in a
Mm,
way because it helps us talk about our stories with these people call them archetypes, these energies like in the
yeah.
sky, and they represent different things, often like a story does, for us. And so for me, it's kind of it feels rather theatrical. It's almost like, yeah, like narrative therapy. And then it allows me to use my emotional intelligence that I've learned from just being me, but also like being an actor and having acting training, to like listen to people and like figure out how they tick, right? I mean, I know like therapy's like that too, but astrology's really like that because we're getting right to the core of like, all right, Pisces, so you are, so you have visions, and they're like, I never told anyone that, so it's like it gets
I
right
do.
right to the core. I know.
I have a lot of visions. I've got so many visions that it got me married to a guy that I probably wasn't even supposed to marry. Girl,
Classic.
we could be here
Classic
all
Pisces
day.
boundary, learning curve.
Girl, you're just like all on my street. Like
Yeah.
what? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I love this.
Yeah.
I I so love this. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
wow. So let me ask you another question that I just love to ask. So, you know, this is Disruptor Conversations.
Hmm.
Out in these streets, I'm known as the disruptor coach. So I would love to know, what did the disrupt her in you have to disrupt?
Oh, man. Recently, oh man, recently it's been my resistance to my identity like as a leader and as like a business owner, as a person with ideas, as a person with audacious goals. I had to disrupt that. And I thought I had disrupted it. You know, like I consider myself very political. I consider myself very like woke and like I thought I had been doing a lot of disrupting, but recently, like coming into my 30s, I'm 34,
Mhm.
and being like, oh wait, no, no, there's more there, and there's a different layer there that like no one really explained. Yeah,
I'm uniquely qualified for this. This is my lane, Hallie.
I know.
I love this. And so, how comfortable are you kind of sharing the details? Because this could help someone out there.
Oh my God, I'm very open to sharing the details.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a little more about what that really looked like for you, how it showed up, kind of
Hmm.
what did you do about it?
Well, I mean, it yeah. It's it's one of those things where it's like you're you're doing so much work and then all of a sudden it starts happening fast.
Yep.
Like you know, it's like it's been such a process and I was obsessed with, you know, theater from a young age. I went to school for musical theater, got my BFA, and I was, you know, been doing it professionally for over 10 years. And then the pandemic hit and I turned 30.
Mhm.
And I started questioning. I had already been like, this feels a little unsustainable. Um, how am I going to do this? And so I had been thinking about like how to have parallel careers and like what that looks like for me and what it means to be fulfilled basically has been
Yeah.
like a huge theme over the last like 5 or 6 years.
Mhm.
And so I started trying out all different things. I got my yoga certification. I worked at a bank. I tried freelance teaching. I like went back to act like auditioning. I tried all sorts of things, and then I lost all like my freelance jobs all at once one year. The year I got married, 2024. I like all of a sudden like all three of my jobs or something like all just ended at the same time, and I was like, okay, great. And that is when I found my astrology school. I'd already been sort of like curious about it, but I sort of used that as a grounding
Mhm.
tool. And that's kind of like how I think about serving my clients now, because for me, it was the like, you know, what felt like almost like I don't want to say the final piece of the puzzle because hopefully I'm only like at least under halfway through my life, but like it felt like, knock on wood, but like it felt like it was the piece that I was missing for this journey that I was on. And I just felt so validated and
Mhm.
like I had like paths that I could choose like in front of me.
I love that.
And I had been doing so much like soul searching and like spiritual journeying and therapy and like, oh my God, like, and I just like was like, I'm working so hard. I'm trying so hard to surrender and be like, okay, like that thing of like, hello, universe, I'm doing the work. Can you send me the download already, please?
Yeah, I wanted
This
to
is
hurry up
so
and come.
hard.
How soon?
What'd you say?
I said you wanted to hurry up and come
I
soon.
know. And I was like trying to surrender, but I was just like, dang, this is really hard. And then that was the piece that for some reason just made sense for me. I think it marries, like, again, the narrative part. It puts my left brain to rest
Yeah,
because we're looking at real planets and the real elements and like an actual observational science that's been going on for thousands of years.
yeah.
But it was a way for me to connect to the spiritual energy. And I think I had like, bless my parents, but they're educators and they love the arts, but they're very logical. And so I didn't have really much, and I wasn't really open to like the world unseen growing
Mm.
up. And so I thought it was like you just work hard until the thing is, and then that's it. Like that's the point of life. And I was like, I didn't have any way to relate to the subtle energy. And I knew I needed to at this point. I was like, all right, I've lived enough life that I know it's not all mental.
Right,
And that
right.
was the permission. The astrology was the permission for me to connect to it in a way that really like put the capsule on the journey I was on. And I guess in terms of how that relates to the leadership of it all, um, it just like things in my chart pointed in that direction. And I finally just like it's funny. It's like, you would think business is all like mental and like, externally validated. But for me, it's been about like betting on myself. It was just like a series of events led me to be like, why the hell not? If now, when?
Mm, mm, mm. And
Yeah,
I suspect, and I have a lot of thoughts about all of this that you've dealt with. I do believe your higher self will definitely conspire to point you in the right direction. So things collided at the right time now for you. And I see this with a lot of folks in their 30s, right? Because there's what you've grown up with or what society has shown you. Now we're in this stage of social media and things do happen faster, like almost immediate when something happens because we've got video and all of the things. And then it's like you said, you've lived enough life and now things are coming into question because what someone may have told you based upon their upbringing, they're only going to give you what they know. And I see that I'm frozen. Can you still hear me though?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Right. I don't know why that happens. And it's questioning, right? It's bringing it into question. Like, who am I to become? I had these dreams, these hopes and desires, and now that I'm living them, it doesn't feel like what I thought it would. It isn't fulfilling me the way that I thought it would. Oh shoot. I either need to be married by now, have successful and have the career and the job, and it's just not happening. I don't even want it. Throw the whole damn thing away.
Yes. Or even if it is happening, it's not enough. Or.
And then there's this whole sense of belonging that's also taking place. Because what I've also seen is it not only happens kind of with regards to the profession or business, it happens culturally too, right? The people that you've been in community with, your family, all of that. And then it's like, I don't really feel that. I don't really believe that. Why don't I feel that? Why don't I believe that?
That's
What are,
so true.
what are they going to think about me?
It's a part that like is so almost unconscious. It's so hard to bring to the conscious.
Mhm.
Like, and it's so strong because it's like almost, of course, I would want to be belonging to where I grew up. I spent 20 years there. Like, you know,
And you may start to realize I don't even believe any of this is true. Like now you're on a journey to find like, okay, where do I really belong? Where do I really want to belong? What do I really believe? What do I really think? Right? And um that can be tough. if you can't find the right people to support you in that, it could go opposite ways. So I hold space for a lot of that myself because I went on that journey. I feel like I've done it more than once, actually.
Mm.
So, because you have free will, right? And so, if you start down a path that is not the path that is really part of the vision, even though it looks and feels, because we're making decisions based upon, is this right? Is this wrong? And not necessarily is it about the right and wrong, or what are they going to think, or if we're making decisions that has anything to do that is outside of you, it's probably going to steer you astray because all of the answers are inward.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does astrology, how can someone be supported with astrology to help them on this journey? Because now you know some things, girl.
Yes. Yeah. And it's so simple, actually,
Yeah.
which is beautiful. I know. I think people think of it as so complex. And there, of course, are so many layers and complexities to it, but the things that are so helpful, you can know, and we're going to do it today in a mini reading with you. You can know it very,
Okay.
very soon. So how it can help people, I mean, how I put it is that like my business, Astrology with Hallie, you come in confused, you leave with clarity. It
Mm.
sounds so simple, but a lot of it is about validating your experience, especially as women. Like, not that other people don't experience this of other genders, but like it's about being like, yeah, that time and that time and that time in my life felt like absolute shit, and it was this flavor of shit. Okay, great. Good
Okay.
to know that that is really a theme, and it's not just because I'm whatever story that we made up. And how we can, I mean, it's a lot about like alignment with what is like true for you. So it really reflects yourself back to yourself. It's like a
Right.
blueprint. Yeah. And so you can be like, oh yeah, no, that really is what really matters to me. Like, you know, something that I am becoming, my Cancer rising.
Mm.
That whole thing we were talking about with family and or with like belonging and stuff. I think that I have a suspicion and a theory that my stickiness to my family story is extra sticky because Cancer is all about home and roots, and I'm figuring out how to do home and roots in my own way
Yeah.
while also honoring my roots. And
Mm.
that's really hard for me. I can feel emotion, so it must be true. And so just connecting back to your true values, and then also just like I try to lead with that because I think that you can be your own guide if you really like are able to start listening to that inner knowing, which I think that it can really help you because again, the validating, the reflecting back. However, it also gives very practical things like this is where astrology says your career is going to be. Like, this is what it says you should kind of do for your career. This is how your mind works. Like, this is what kind of person you might want to be in a relationship with if you want to. Like, very practical stuff too. And also just like self-care things in terms of like how heavy in one element your chart is or not, in terms of like what you need to focus on in general. Yeah.
Well, let's show the people, Hallie,
Do it.
what we got. Let's
Do
do
it.
a doggone thing. Can I get a reading?
Yes, you can get a reading. Let's do what I call a mini reading. So my readings are 60 minutes, the initial readings. But I also do I don't offer this generally, but like at pop-up events and stuff, I'll do 20-minute readings where I'll just in the spot look at someone's chart, and that's what we're doing today because Selena just sent me her chart um just like that. So I think I'll do it without sharing the screen of your chart because you don't need to see your chart. It's not really important.
Okay.
You can later if you want to, but I don't generally show people their chart because I'm not teaching them astrology. I'm just giving them the wisdom, you
That
know?
sounds wonderful. Well, read me, girl. I'm here for it.
I'm reading. Okay. Okay, so we already confirmed your birth time and date.
Mhm.
And so how we're going to do this is we're going to talk about the pillars of what make you you. Okay.
Okay.
We'll talk about one transit that's currently happening for you. So one like current energy that's in the sky that may be affecting you. And then we'll end with something to wrap it up and something you can take home with and hopefully simmer on. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So let me just download this so that I can see it better.
Okay. Sounds good. So we're going to look at my current energy reading that's in transit. So it's what's going on in the universe. Is that how I
Yeah,
need
we're
to?
gonna look at your like the build of what makes you you. So we're gonna look at your character. That's always true no matter what. And we're gonna look at something that's current. Makes sense?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Character that's always, I want to hear this.
I know. I find that not to generalize, I find folks that have been on this earth for probably like 40 or 50 years or more are like, all right, give it to me.
Exactly. I'm 58. I'm not shy. And
I think I know who I am, but you just try. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, this intrigues me. I cannot wait
It's
to hear.
interesting. It's interesting.
Hey.
So you might know that in astrology we break up the sky into 12 sections and we call them zodiacs, right?
Okay.
And so what I'm looking at right now is your birth chart. And what that is, it's like a screenshot of the sky, literally, of when the moment you were born. Okay,
Mm,
so I'm looking at the planets and how they're in relationship to each other the moment you're born, and this has significance, right? Um, and so, something else to know that you may or may not know is that all the zodiacs are corresponding to one of the four elements: earth, water, air, and fire.
I love earth, water, air, and fire.
Yeah,
Yes.
so they're all in there. So what we look at is where the three most important things that we look at in a chart is where the sun was when you were born, where the moon was when you were born, and where the horizon was when you were born, which people call the rising sign or the ascendant. Okay, so your moon is in Pisces. I mean, sorry, your sun is in Pisces.
Okay.
Your moon is in Cancer and your rising is in Sagittarius. Okay.
Okay. And what does that mean in plain
I
English?
will tell you. So Pisces is actually a water sign. Cancer is also a water sign, and Sagittarius is a fire sign. So you have in your big three, call them, we have water, water, fire.
Mm,
Okay. So we'll get into this more, this water theme, but you have double water.
right.
So water represents all things feeling, all things intuition, all things like unspoken, nonverbal, the invisible worlds of life, um, our traumas and dramas that we bring in, emotions. It's like all things nurturing. I mean, am I leaving anything out? Deep, like intimacy is in there, all these kind of like deep feeling things. I mean, it's like how I'm talking, right? It's like flowing, water's flowing. It feels nice, It's that.
And I
So
got a
a
whole
lot of
podcast
that in your
about,
big three, huh?
I was just going to say, I got a whole podcast about deep conversations because I love to
Yeah,
just go deep.
exactly. And you can't do a conversation that's not deep for
I
sure. Yeah,
cannot.
water wants to feel, unless it feels too much, and then it wants to escape, right? That's kind of like the low road of water.
Mm,
Um, and so you have double water and you have fire. And so I like to describe it like if you literally imagine those two elements together, right? You could think of a couple things. I like to think of like maybe like a warm cup of cocoa, a
mm,
perfectly simmering teapot, like those are like that's the high road of fire and water together. So that's what describes the core of who you are, of your personality, of how you move through the world, the low road, right? If you can imagine too much fire and water going together, first of all, fire can like, they can cancel each other out, both of them can
mm.
cancel each other out, or it could like bubble over the teapot, or if there's no container for the hot cocoa, it can spill. So they're both very motion. I mean, heavy elements. I guess air is too, but and so yeah, so I want to hear how you're relating to all this in general, and then I'll get into the details of the specific energies of Pisces, Cancer, and Sagittarius.
Well, it's funny, the double water, um, both of them make sense because I feel like I am both of them. I I'm water naturally, but don't don't hurt anybody, don't do anything to, like be a jerk or bully people, because then the fire and the watery the come out, like the fierceness of it, for sure. And I feel I'm fiery just in spirit as well. Like I got my whole framework is getting your shit together.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You're not afraid to curse. Yeah, that's definitely a fire thing for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
not afraid to curse. I'm not afraid to tell you about yourself and what
Yeah.
I have to say, what I feel, what I think. I'm very, I'm very comfortable with being vulnerable.
Hmm.
Hey, I'm a disruptor. I'm comfortable with that, going against the grain.
Disruptor is totally the fire thing. It's the,
I've been like that my whole life.
love warrior. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah. So just to get a little bit into the specifics of these. So
Yes.
if these three were in a room together, right?
Pisces, Cancer, and Sagittarius.
Correct. If they were in a room and they were hanging out, Pisces would probably be over here and be fine just being like, we can all just meditate together or just be quiet and sit near each other. That's like fine. Pisces is totally fine with that. There could be an element of like wanting to fall into someone as well, but
I'm
generally,
a hugger. I'm definitely a
yeah,
hugger.
and so then that's where we get to the Cancer. So Pisces is kind of fine just being like dee dee dee, like I'm gonna be in my own world,
I can be.
definitely. Cancer, on the other hand, is also water, but Cancer wants to take care of you. It wants to cuddle on the couch. It wants to nourish you with good food. It wants to look at old family albums and like cry and like remember the old times.
Oh
Like,
my
you
goodness.
know what I mean? Like, it's all about getting in the feels in the like cozy way, and in the nurturing way. So
I see.
that's
That's
what
where
you would
the
want.
nurturing comes from. Okay.
Absolutely. And then Sagittarius, on the other hand, would sort of be like, okay, let's go out and take a class, or let's go out and take a hike, and or let's do a road trip. Or actually, can I just do my whole presentation on rocks for you? Or like, whatever. It wants to learn, it wants to be seeking.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see that. I definitely, one of my values is I need to learn something. Like I want
Yeah,
something
that's
each day
huge.
because the day has something that it can teach me. That is so interesting. My best friend is a Sagittarius, and we're kind of opposites. So I wonder what I need to learn what her three are, because that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
funny.
I mean, the water is the Pisces and the Sagittarius probably get along a little bit because they're both Pisces again, like they're in their own world. They're kind of always like they're big thinkers as is Sagittarius. It's the big thinker. It's like it's able to see things like with the big picture. It's like
She's
it
very process focused. We can talk for hours about 15,000 things,
yeah.
like go from one to the next.
Yes. Whereas Cancer is a bit more like I would want to say like grounded, like in the body, in the real world a little bit. It's like it's home. It's like literally where are we, in the world.
And that's so interesting because I am a free spirit, and I feel like home is wherever I am. I will make home. Like I carry things with me when I travel so that I am always comfortable.
Hmm.
Always.
Yeah.
To the
Yeah.
point where people be like, girl, what is
Yeah.
all this stuff? I carry a night light. I have a carbon monoxide detector. I carry a blanket. I bring my own heater. I have everything that I need.
You know how to make home, which
Oh
totally
yeah.
is the Sagittarius that loves to travel and the Cancer that loves home, like
Yeah.
working together. But then the Pisces also just knows we're all one anyway, and like none of this really matters. Like, so you have
That's being
home.
true. This is so funny.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah, go ahead. You had a question or
I
something?
well, this is so cool.
Isn't it? Isn't it?
It's
I
so
have a
cool.
couple of other like main things I want to get to you before we move on
Yay.
to your current transit. You ready?
Okay, because everything that you've said, even from the emotion, the feelings, intuition, trauma, drama, all that, that's all me. I even have another framework called the Nurturing You Didn't Know You Needed framework.
Yep, that's absolutely water. And
Too funny.
you have not only do you have both two, two of your big three in water, you have, let me count them, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight of the 10 planets in water. Let me count it again just to make sure. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight planets in water. You have no planets in air. You have one planet in earth, and you have no planets in fire because we don't consider the rising sign a planet. It's actually just like an angle. So when we look at the breakdown, so it's still significant. You still have that fire, but it's also just really, really interesting to notice that you don't have any actual planets in fire or air, and you have one in earth. So, and you have eight in water. So I'm going to talk about what that like means. So, just to go down this water theme, whew, more. I mean, what it means is either you have an overabundance of water or it's something that you're working on this life. Do you feel like you came in with all these emotions and all this way of being deep and intuitive and knowing spirit and everything? Or is it something that
Yes,
you had to learn?
yes, and um, I I was, but I didn't know it at first, and I didn't like it because
Hmm.
family's really tough and fighters and
Yeah. It can be
no
seen as a
boundaries.
weakness in our
And
society.
yeah, talk about you. And I was a firstborn grandchild, firstborn grandchild, and my uncles would like play tug of war with me, like all kinds of stuff. So I grew up really, fighting all the time, really, literally, fist fighting,
Mm.
words and physically. And
Mm.
then I started getting really, really emotional about stuff. And so I thought I was the weak one, and why I'm so emotional, and why do I care about other people's feelings, and why do I want to know what makes this person tick? Like I felt like I'm too invested in other people for my own good.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna ask now. I mean, it sounds like maybe this was true before. Tell me if it's true, but do you feel like now, do you feel like it overwhelms? Do you feel like it goes it overflows with emotion in terms of like kind of not knowing how to contain or channel it?
I used to in my 30s. Yeah, my 30s, probably between 35 and 45, it was rough. Yeah,
Really? Specifically? Huh.
yeah, yeah.
Was it about boundaries?
Of course.
Yeah, Pisces for that's the other thing. You don't only have your sun in Pisces, you have one, two, three, four planets in Pisces, which is what we call a stellium. So this is a huge theme in your life around actually spirituality and the invisible worlds and knowing that and a little bit like feeling like you're in this world but not of this world. And there can be yeah, yeah.
Mm.
There can be there can be that, and it's the sort of, we talk about the high roads and low roads. There's not a good or bad sign. The high road of Pisces is the visionary, the being able to connect with those invisible worlds and sort of have that wisdom and like, share it with us. And the low road can be the overwhelm of emotion and or feeling like you're not in this world and therefore I shouldn't be here or I need to escape somehow. Escape
I
is
do feel like I need to escape a lot, but not necessarily to another world per se, but I do travel as
yeah.
every single chance I can get to escape.
Well, there's travel, but is it escape or is it to something? You know, because travel is another huge theme in your life, being a Sagittarius rising. So I feel like that could be something that you are like, huh, is this my Pisces wanting to escape? Or am I seeking something? You know? I mean, I guess it could be both.
At different times, it is both for sure. Lately, it's been to escape.
Yeah.
It's been to escape. Uh,
Yeah.
this is so telling.
Hmm.
I want to let you continue. I want to hear more because
Okay.
we could be here all day.
I
'Cause
know, I know. I know.
yeah.
I have one more thing and then we'll get to your current transit. The thing I want you to know that's really important is that um you are actually your sun is on the cusp. People will call themselves like cuspers. I actually have this as well. I'm on the cusp of Aries and Pisces. You are on the cusp of Pisces and Aquarius.
Hmm.
So what this means is you are still a Pisces. You're fully a Pisces, but you have sort of you're kind of going into the door of Pisces and you have like maybe one foot kind of dangling back in Aquarius. And Aquarius is an air sign. So Aquarius is all about connecting. It's all about it's actually the humanitarian. It wants to think outside the box. It is like air in general is about connecting, but Aquarius is sort of the most similar to Sagittarius and Pisces, is the most sort of like able to see the big picture air sign.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so concerned with the collective, it's so concerned with community, and there can be a sense of like not knowing how to actually make the emotional connection. There's like a detachment. So anyway, you may or may not relate to any or all of what I just said, but there's just so you know that there's a something about becoming Pisces from that. It's almost like moving into the more emotional realm of life from the more heady.
Well, I identify with some of the qualities that you mentioned with related to Aquarius because I'm very concerned about the collective. I have enough, this podcast is around that, right? That it's a win-win for all of us. So I'm always looking for that opportunity. And I was given a vision. So I have a whole nother business called the Midwest Way, and it is very much around community service. It's a social enterprise, like all of the things, and bringing that to life. That
Yeah.
was given to me in a vision.
Yeah.
What I was going to say when you talk about the wisdom that it left my mind and came back is I have always had a knowing about people when I meet them, and I've had visions. I had a situation where I went to Sedona, which you know is a very magical spiritual place, and I met a woman, and I was just like drawn to her, older woman. She is now what I call my master teacher.
Mhm.
And when I met her, I could see her whole aura. She was just there was just this white light all around her. And I was immediately attracted to her light. I invited her over to our table. We were at a restaurant. And then the next day she invited us to come to her home. And when I walked in, I had been there before. Like I dropped to my knees and just started praying. I had been all over her house before.
In a
I,
dream?
hmm,
In a dream, or was it just a feeling?
I believe it was in reality. I believe I was in another realm and I had been there. Like I knew everything,
Oh.
everything. And we are still friends to this day. And there are times when I definitely feel like I can process things, and it hadn't always been this way because I feel like I had a mental breakdown. But I can process things, three or four things at one time,
Mm,
and I don't believe I'm in body when that's happening.
mm. Yeah, that's both very like Aquarius and Pisces.
Hmm. Yeah, it's such a I love it when it happens. I love it when it happens. I don't fully understand all of it, but I know that that's what happens.
I love that you love it.
Yeah.
I love that you embrace it. It's so important.
Yeah.
Because some people are scared of it.
I probably was at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably I was that's why I dropped to my knees when that happened. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah. And it's so funny you brought up your other business too, and your like your career sector is actually also on the cusp. It's on the cusp of Virgo and Libra. And to me, what that means is like there is something about definitely service, but also like social justice and balance and almost like lawyerly. It doesn't have to be a lawyer, but like, there in your career, like you are meant to do something with both of those things in terms of
Oh,
how you
let me
show up to
tell
the
you,
public.
I am considering going to law school.
Well, there you go. Really?
I was going to do it in my 30s, and when I took that LSAT, I was like, maybe this ain't it. And then it just came back up a couple of weeks ago. My best friend mentioned that she was considering it, and I just like jumped for joy. And I was like, I tell you what, if you don't go, I'm going. And if you go, you better not go without me.
Wow. Maybe
Literally.
that's what you meant to do. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
just happened a couple of weeks ago. And I'm
Yeah. That's
wow.
so cool.
Okay,
Wow.
girl.
Wow. Okay.
You're reading me today.
What's that?
I said, you are reading me today.
Reading. That's how we call it a reading. I know. I mean, I guess.
That
That's what we call it a reading.
seems like a gift too, to be able to read that. Or is it a learned skill? Like,
It's really interesting. That's such a good question. Most people wouldn't think about it. It's a learned skill. It's a learned skill. It's like literally I'm looking at a picture and I'm, interpreting it based on, again, like thousands of years of astrologers observing the sky and what happens when such and such happens and writing it down and da 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 da. And so there are certain like ways to interpret it, and there's different traditions of how to interpret it as well.
but
Um,
it's crazy that it's true because humans are so human.
I know they're so human, they're so different, and yet also have a lot of the same themes
Yeah.
that come up. I think that's why. I think because so like we all have all the energies in our chart.
Right.
Like we're not missing any, but there's some are popping more than others. And so it's like how and where are they showing up in your life,
Is
right?
it true that Pisces are made up of like all the signs?
Yeah,
Oh, that.
'cause it's the final one.
Mm.
Yeah, that's kind of why it's like almost the transitional sign into, the unknown. Because it's the final one. So it has to do with like death and loss and again, the unknown worlds, invisible worlds. And it encapsulates yeah, because some people say it encapsulates all the signs. It's like it can be again, the high road is it can be like basically the wisest sign of the zodiac because it's at the end.
Oh, wow. How do you do this in 20 minutes, girl?
I know, man. It's so
Minutes.
fun because it's so simple. Once you learn it, it's like some parts of it are so simple.
So when you do the 20-minute reading, I imagine that people then want to go deeper.
Yeah,
Or do you?
some
Okay.
people, and some people have like had readings before and they just want to like check in. Um, because, basically we did a bit of an extended version of like the first portion just now.
Yeah.
But we'll check in with that and then we'll do what I'm gonna do next with you, which is your current transit. So you're currently at the end of something. You have
Mm,
6 more months. You've
really?
been in it for 2.5 years.
That girl, you are on
You're
point.
not, you've been in it for 2 years because it's a 2.5 year transit. So
You
we're talking literally 2023 September. It started. What happened in 2023 September or around there?
you are, oh my God, you are spot on.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my Lord.
yeah. Oh man.
That's when I liken it to the nervous breakdown. I was dealing with some bullshit at work. with a woman that I worked for, and I was starting to just not feel like myself. I was diagnosed October 2023 with PTSD, trauma stressors, anxiety, and depression.
Whoa.
And
Whoa.
I've absolutely been dealing with it all that time. And I have physical ailments that manifested. So there not only was the mental stuff happening, the physical things were happening.
Wait, say that again. The mental stuff was happening in the physical. What was the physical stuff?
So I got diagnosed now. So I'm just going to name the diagnosis, and some of them we are finding out more information. I'm starting to find out more information. IBS, Sjogren's syndrome, um, pelvic floor dysfunction. That one has been the most debilitating, because it is involving the pelvic area, my vagina, my abdomen, and chronic pain daily. And um, and my bladder and my kidneys. I go to the bathroom, I kid you not, 60 to 70 times a day. And it all got worse during that time with that job because it was just creating a lot of stress. I I never even identified with being stressed and all of that. So my life has, yeah, it's taken a severe turn after all of that happened and brought everything into question and all of the things. Yeah.
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 Wow. Well, thank you for sharing all that. Yeah, that yeah, it's totally reflected. And actually, even specifically the mental health part of it all, like the psychology part, like before that, those 2 years, you were in like very much an internal um, portion. And also, it's hard to explain quickly, but basically, there was a time before that that was all about the internal workings of your relationships. And then it went into the internal workings of your psychology and of your mental health. And then within that, it went from the internal
Mhm.
to the external. Like the moment that you're saying, October 2024, it went into
2023.
something, or 2023, it went into dealing with your psychology and your mental health, and bringing, almost like bringing light to it, almost like,
Yep.
because isn't it kind of a relief to get a diagnosis? It's almost like shedding light on something
It was
that was
very much
plaguing you.
so because I could not figure out what was going on. I was working a job and doing things that I could do with my eyes closed, and it was feeling oppressive, and I was feeling unsafe, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And the trick, it was what was happening was, so when you talk about the relationships, I was in a marriage. My ex was a narcissist, and so I was dealing with all of that and unpacking that. And then, what is the odds that I would go work for someone with a similar energy? I'm not saying she was. Energy was similar, and it was triggering me over and over and over and over again. I was dealing with that for 3 years, and um it was putting me back as if I was in that marriage.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I had not been able to like put that together. What it shed light on for me when it happened, um and I was starting to feel like, because my spirit kept telling me to take a leave of absence from work, and I'm like, I don't even know what to tell them, like what's happening. I don't believe they're going to believe me, black woman working for a white woman. I just had a lot of angst around it, and I'm like, I don't know what to say. And then finally it got to the point where I felt like I couldn't even breathe. And then when I got the diagnosis, I couldn't believe it. Like, oh my God, oh my God, there was something. And my spirit was telling me, right? And I was, in going through all that, it made me question everything. I was in a chronic state of confusion all the time and feeling like not like myself. I was making me not trust myself. I am still dealing with it, and I'm to praise God if it's only 6 months. not after this, because I couldn't even like write things on a list. I could not organize my thoughts. I was not motivated or any.
Because you were dealing with the diagnoses. Even
I
after you
was,
got it, you were trying to figure it out
yeah,
and
because
yeah.
all I felt like at the time was I must have missed something because I came out of the marriage believing that I was fine. And then what I started realizing is maybe I got some kind of trauma or something that I
Mm,
didn't know was there,
mm.
that was starting to surface.
Right,
And
the
that
PTSD.
yeah,
Yeah.
I needed
Yeah.
someone. I was at the time I was seeing a spiritual counselor, and I realized, okay, I need somebody that specializes in trauma. So
Yeah.
it was a lot, girl. It was a lot. And a lot was happening. I was getting certified as a business mindset and money coach. And the people that were in my community like would help me do my homework every day. My business bestie. I love her to death. And she's spiritual. She does energy readings as well.
Mm,
And so
shout out. Oh my
yeah.
God.
Yeah, because if had it not been for those, and it was 100 women like me, you know, supporting, because
Yeah.
I would not have made it through.
And good news, in 6 months, you're actually going into another 2.5 year period that is going to be, I think you're going to feel much more able to not only take care of your health, but your organization. You're going
Yeah.
to feel like an organization like queen. And it's like about, yes, yes. And it's about like your daily life. It also entered into a realm, it already has entered into a realm that's all about your rising sign, Sagittarius. It's all about like fun and travel and seeking and learning.
That's exactly what I've been doing.
For these, so the fact you just went on a trip, didn't you?
And I'm getting ready to go on two more.
There you go. There's this 6 month thing where it's very fiery and it's very about not it's about being seen and it's about seeking. It's about celebrating self and celebrating vitality as a form of self-care and seeking whatever it is, learning, travel, especially in these 6 months. And then it's almost like you're going to become an organization queen, but you're also going to become like a queen about organizing fun into your daily life, organizing travel and seeking into the everyday somehow as well for the next 2.5 years.
This
So hopefully you'll have a little bit of extra energy help with your homework too.
this is so good because I was given the download. My IP is around self-love care. That's the S in the shit.
Oh, okay. Yes, the daily freaking yes, health, yes.
This is wild.
Yeah.
It's so crazy that so it aligns with what I am beginning to feel, because what one of the things that's happening for me spiritually as I lean into this calling. So I feel that there's two things, right? I feel that came out of all of this trauma and drama and pain is I was given the vision that led to the marriage. I've been holding that vision. It's 10 years now. I got it in 2015. And I found my calling, because had I not gone through that marriage and all of that thing, because I was starting to realize I need me a me, somebody that will show up for me the way that I show up for everybody else and help them and change their lives and all of the things. And I took on my first life coach, right? So
Okay.
that's when I started to realize this is a profession.
Oh, right, 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 right. Yeah.
What? So then I got certified, like a holistic life coach, and it was during the pandemic. And I learned about all of the things. And I also went through a rites of passage so that I would never ever forget who I am, because I came out of that marriage lost. It took me away from myself. And so I found my community, Queen of Food and the Sacred Women's, and it's all about the African lifestyle living and the elements.
Oh, wow. Wait, that was a different training?
It's yep. It's a 12-week rites of passage, and it's learning about African Kemetic lifestyle living. And I went through that program, that rites of passage, right after I finished my life coaching certification. And when I did that, My ascension, as we call it, was in California. Well, in between that period and that was happening, that's when Rachel Rogers and Hello Seven came into the frame. And I started realizing if I do the life coaching, I also need business coaching because I want to serve the entire woman. Because she's
Person.
like me,
Yeah.
right? She's been a giver. Like my ideal client is Miss, I got time for everything except myself, right? Because we've been pouring in everybody. And then she also has this mission and goals and dreams and desires that are there. And I wanted to help her also bring those to fruition. So I wanted that framework and skill set to do that. So it all aligned and it made sense. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what your current stuff is. And I guess I think I would wrap it up with like what I would want to leave you with is your life lesson, which is just to um remember that boundaries are your friend. I'm so sorry. It's not necessarily the most fun, but your life lesson is that the more you are able to put in joyful boundaries, the more you will be able to express and connect to spirit more and connect to your emotions, and also that you're meant to communicate them. There's a huge theme around communicating your emotions. So you are meant to learn how to put the ego mind to the side and channel and communicate.
I've been actively doing that. And there's this overarching, it's funny that you say ego because dealing with a form of narcissism for so long,
Mm.
it left me feeling like, am I a narcissist? Like I don't want to become
Oh,
what
interesting.
what I was oppressed by. I just had a conversation with someone about that last night, and they're like, the fact that you even feel that way should tell you you're
You're not
not.
a narcissist. Yeah.
Still,
Yeah.
because of this calling and needing to communicate and share what I'm doing and all of that, it makes me feel that way sometimes. Like, because
Oh,
I
like you're
have to
only
focus on some,
self-focused or something
yeah,
like, yeah. Oh, that
I
makes so
have
much
to focus on
sense.
myself, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, there's definitely a thing about writing, speaking, something about your spiritual and emotional life for sure. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Well, girl, we
So
could
there
talk
you
about
go.
this all day. You
I
are
know,
on
I
it.
know.
And
And
mm, okay.
I was gonna say, and I will. I want to. I'm making a VIP day, where we can like go through your whole like life, basically, like before, now, and after, and just like suss it all out. But that's not now.
Yeah, and I don't know if I want to know.
I know.
I love the element of being surprised with what each day holds for me. I'll share one last thing that happened. So I did go to Panama, and I mean, when I tell you you're spot on, I can map what I'm doing in the physical realm right now with what you have said and where I'm being called to go. Literally. I launched a couple weeks ago my Sacred Circle Reset experience. And in that, so the four key areas of that is the self-love care, healing, identity, time, freedom, which is everything that you're saying that's about me, right?
Yeah.
And when we step through that, and one of the things we talk about in what that looks like, right? Creating your own freedom. And for me, when asked, mine is that I will see the sunrise wherever I am in the world every single day. And I got 13 sunrises when I went to Panama. So I am getting the freedom that I desire because it's not always about
Hmm.
money, right?
Yeah.
I would definitely spend a lot of time in the intangibles. Most people need to see tangibles, but I believe that you need both to have a full life.
Yeah, freedom is a big thing for you as a Sagittarius rising. Yeah, you need to be able to like be free. Yeah.
For sure. This is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's
Ball.
it. That's
You
not
just
it. That's a 20-minute reading. Yeah.
you just read me, y'all. This y'all better get with Miss Hallie. It's she's the real deal here. Oh my gosh. The
Yeah, it's so
the boundaries always come up.
they do.
I'm like, I'm not there yet.
I know. Well, and yeah, it's a lifelong lesson. So you probably have gotten better at it. I mean,
Well, I'm
it's very
definitely better. And I'm really
so
good at helping other people with this. I don't even like using the word boundaries because
right. Yeah, it's such an interesting word. What would you
it
use?
is. I use getting your needs met so that it becomes personal and you
Oh, I
understand
love that. I'm
actually
gonna
do.
write that down because I have been because it is I have been searching for a new word,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Because it's about you. People think that boundaries are for other people, but they don't know they're for you. They're for
Exactly.
you to meet your needs.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love this. I love that we're able to serve each other in this way. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay, Hallie. Um, this is so
I'm
good.
so glad we did that.
I'm
That was
so
so
glad
much
that you
fun.
did too. And that way people at home get to see how you get down and
Yeah.
the gifts and the knowledge and learning that you have. And it's on point. Y'all, y'all been hearing my story for a long time, and it was absolutely in my cards. What that also alludes to me is what I am starting to know and believe that your spirit and what is internal to you, your gut feeling, your intuition, is always operating on your behalf. So it's going to get you where you are meant to be. What do you think about that?
Mm. I mean, I think it's something that I always have known about myself, that that is like what I'm here to bring. And it's been just about finding the avenues for which that can serve, you know? And I think this is one of the avenues, and it's just such a great reminder of like that is who I am, you know, as well as the fiery Aries, you know, like I'm meant to show up as all as both, you know, the
I
fire and
love that for you. So tell us about that. What is your sun, moon, and
oh,
rising,
yeah.
and how it equates for you and who you are called to serve? Tell us
Woo!
about it, darling.
Mm. So yeah, I have my sun in Aries. I have my moon in Gemini, and I have my rising in Cancer. So I have fire, air, water. So I have a mixed bag, as you say. It's a bit of a versatile personality. It's not all one thing all the time, which can be a little confusing. Also, being on the cusp of Aries and Pisces, I have one foot in Pisces, which is like a very like we said, Pisces is the end of the zodiac and Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. So
Perfect.
there's sort of something very touchy-feely and wise that I'm actually meant to be almost like reborn and like start over and like be experience things new, but I'm like I kind of resist that sometimes. That's how I have felt it, you know, which I hate to say. I hate to say, but like I remember even feeling like even to this day sometimes, and I think astrology is helping me embrace it more, but like I've always felt nervous about spring. Like the pressure of starting something has always been like, oh my God, it's so much. But I also think it's also because I'm also discovering that it's because I have so much energy to give that, and like at times perhaps it has been like maybe too much for people. And so
That Pisces portion.
I'm afraid of that energy, you know? Yeah. And then there's the Cancer rising, which is also extremely emotional. And so, yeah, and then, I mean, the Gemini moon, I'm still figuring it out. I think it's like, I just love to talk about my feelings, which I think is apparent, because the moon is your emotions. So that's how I relate that's how I relate to my chart. I I also have something which we didn't really talk about your conjunctions too much, but I have Mars on my ascendant. And this has been the point in the chart, in my chart, that I feel like has been one of the biggest learning things that have come up to me for me when I learned my chart. My teacher, when I was taking my first course, she brought it up and pointed out, and she was like, "And how's your relationship to anger?" Because Mars represents anger, war, strategy, energy, even like sex. And I was like, like I felt it was like that mic drop moment. That's what I'm going for with with my clients, is that moment where you're like, "Oh my
How
God,
did you know? Right.
you actually just saw me." And the thing that I specifically love working on is this thing of like me, where I was trying all the things, and there's this openness to, like, I know I'm ready to like do, I don't want to just say the deep work, but like I'm ready to become aware to the thing I'm not aware of about myself. Like I'm ready to really I'm really ready to stop blaming my partner for everything. Like I want to figure out how to do that. Like I'm really ready to stop, like, or I don't want to always use the word stop, but like I'm really ready to learn how to prioritize fun. I just never do it, or whatever it is.
Work
And
together.
so
We got to work together. You
I
got
know, I know. Yeah, we definitely
to.
do.
I got you, boo.
I know, I know. It's so exciting. Like so that's who I love to work with, because just those little, because that was it for me. When she said that, how, like, something like, how's your relationship to anger? I was like, because the reason it was a jaw drop moment is because it was the kind of thing where I was, well, again, being a woman, right, in our society, being a Cancer rising, and being how I, whatever, was raised, I was just like, anger is not necessarily the preferred emotion, we're expected to
Yeah.
be, like,
Nice.
I wouldn't want to identify as that. That was also the resistance to the Aries, because Aries is that same energy. And I was like, I always wanted to, have energy, but also be considered nice,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
Because that's what we're
That's the word. That's the problem.
nurturing and caring and all the things. And so when she said, "What's your," and I go, holy, because it was the thing that had kept popping up in my life. And I
Yeah.
was like newly engaged, and I was like, it was definitely coming up in my relationship. And
Mm.
I was like, dang, like I really don't want this to be a true thing about me. But she was like, this is a thing, and it's a big thing because it's a very significant placement. And so what it did was it gave me the permission to be like, okay, it was the thing that I always put off dealing with, right? It was the thing that I was like, I know I should probably look at why I blew up in that situation back in 10 years ago, but I don't know. I just kept like kind of putting it off
Right.
just because it was uncomfortable. And it was like, holy mother. Like, I was like, because it was coming up right directly in my current life. So that was like a huge moment for me. And so, yeah, I mean, I think I love to help people who are spiritually curious, people who are career pivoters, entrepreneurs, like people who have tried everything and like still
Mhm.
can't find their clear path forward. Whether it's like, I've been on this path for a while, I have this business, I felt like it was really aligned, I think it is, but there's a question that, again, I keep kind of putting off and I'm
Yeah.
not sure what it is. Or it's like kind of where I was like, I don't know what that I want to do. Like, what is going on? I'm so ready for something. And like, that can really help you delineate the directions in which like you could go or what you might go. So to like basically find a clear path forward.
Most to
Yeah.
me, it's funny because I feel like life is an experiment. Like we don't,
Right.
we don't know what we don't know. So try things because everyone is learning, right? And then this almost sounds like it gives you a little bit of shortcut to peek into at least what areas to focus in
Yeah.
that you enjoy. Because I tend to believe it's what people want to do, but then life has them believe you can't do what you want to do because they enjoy it and it comes easy and they didn't have to learn it and all of these things. And they don't believe that it will make a living for them.
Mm.
give them the lifestyle that they want.
Or it can be something that they like think they want, but actually they're meant to work on something that they need, which is almost like a deeper, like a
Yes.
surface level thing, you know?
And I think that's true in life, period, right? Because I believe, and this is what my master teacher always says, we teach what we most need to learn.
Yes. Oh.
I was like, oh,
I always think about that in my readings. Like, I mean, it's just like, and I think I'm like, I wonder if this is how psychologists and therapists feel because it's like, I mean, all we can do is teach what we know, you know? And I incorporate, like, you know, I have this whole background in musical theater and acting. I mean, I incorporate in my yoga training and like my voice training and all the body awareness and all the, I have so many tool belts in my, tool
and
belts,
that's
tool
what
belts.
makes you you, and
Yeah,
why those same people would be drawn to you because you're uniquely qualified. It doesn't matter how many other astrologers out there.
right. Yeah, it is. I'm just like doling out these tools like this. I'm like, and I'm only 34. Hopefully, I'll learn way more. Hopefully
Oh,
from
you
you.
will. Well, so do you have someone else read your chart or do you do it yourself?
You know what's so funny? I saw this to someone recently. I've actually never had a reading. I've only looked at my own chart. I know. Well, because we learn how we learn in the school is you learn your own chart, you
Yeah.
know. So I know my chart better obviously than anyone's, you know. And so you learn all the concepts through your own chart and you're constantly going back and looking at it and looking at it. But I do have like at least one person in mind or two where I'm like,
Yes.
I want to let you have the reflection back on me because it's so funny because even though the blueprint is there for the astrology and it is in a way like an objective reflection back of you, it's still really hard to be objective about yourself. And it's so
Because you're in
helpful.
the middle of it and
I know.
it doesn't feel like you need somebody else to witness and mirror it to help you take it in and receive it. Because
Yeah.
knowing it is one
Yeah.
thing and then
Yeah.
being able to be held accountable to move through it is a whole nother. I
Yeah,
love it.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And our teachers, of course, like, you know, I basically got many, many readings from all my teachers throughout the, you know, thing. So.
But you need your person.
Yeah, I mean, I have many a people. I'm one of those coach therapist collectors. But, and you're on my list too, by the way. You're on my wish list.
Hey,
Of course.
you are making me blush here, girl. Well, we're gonna definitely work together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I can see
yeah,
a path where that is supposed to happen.
yeah,
This is just the beginning.
yeah,
Miss, I this has just been so rich.
yeah.
So three things happen when we have a guest on. There's the pre conversation that takes place right before we even get on. Then there's the show, the disruptor conversation. And then sometimes there is an after conversation, an after the show conversation. I can see where this could go on for hours,
I
girl.
know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we need to have like a meeting to just download all our ideas.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
What else would you like to share that maybe we did not get an opportunity to touch on? Did we miss anything or anything on the list? I did share a list of questions with you. I never get to those questions.
There were so many good ones. But we hit a lot of the themes I think that are really important.
That's what really happens. Let me ask you this one then.
Yep.
What resources or tools, or sometimes it's a podcast, a book, what would you share with others that are interested in how you helped yourself get here?
Well, for one thing, the I want to say the mother of astrology. I don't mean that in the like I think she's the mother of astrology. Deborah Silverman, she's my teacher. She runs the Applied Astrology School. So if you just look up Deborah Silverman astrology.com or look her up on Instagram, she's just a wonderful person just to listen to, just have in your ears. She's just like she's kind of like a spiritual teacher. She makes it super practical. She's super like nurturing, but she's also very funny. I highly recommend her.
Does she have a podcast? How do you listen
She
to?
does have a podcast. Her podcast is called I Don't Believe in Astrology.
Ah,
Yeah. And you can find her on Instagram at Deborah Silverman Astrology. And her book is called I Don't Believe in Astrology. And she also has another book called The Missing Element that I use a lot in my work.
mhm.
Because the work is all, I guess what I'll say is like what makes my work kind of unique is one is that I hope it is comes across that I'm very approachable. I don't think I necessarily seem like the like esoteric astrology like type. I'm very like your friend who's going to tell you about your shit. And then also it's a nuanced conversation. So people are like, oh, well, like, why can't I just go to Pattern or CoStar or even the Chani app? If there are people who are listening who are astrology people, Chani's another great, I love Chani Nicholas. She's a wonderful astrologer and she has a great app that I use daily for myself.
How do you spell that? Channy?
Chani, Chani.
Okay.
Yeah, she's based in California. And anyway, but like she has an app which is great, but like getting a live reading is of course so much more nuanced and we can reflect back and forth to each other. And then the third thing is that we're based really in the elements. We got into a little bit with you in terms of fire, air, earth, and water. And that's where the tools come in terms of how to really work with the elements in real life and like how it can be really applicable and you can feel it. And then also Deborah Silverman has been an astrologer for over 4 decades, but she's also been a psychotherapist for over 4 decades. So all the training is like kind of has a psychological foundation. So that's kind of what makes my stuff different. So I said Deborah Silverman, I said Chani Nicholas. I'll give one more astrologer, Colin Bedell. I'll spell it I think it's ColinBedel. He's so funny and he's a Gemini, but he's always having these like you would love him. Like references right off the top. He's like, and this is the quote, and he's really good at marrying the like kind of deep theoretical with the funny real life, and he's so smart and so compassionate. I'm obsessed with him and he knows it, I
I'm
think.
pretty sure he was the astrologer. So
Oh,
this
that's right. That's how I know about Rachel Rogers, is
exactly.
that he came to her thing, to
Yeah.
ROI and to other retreats, I believe. And he made a
Yeah.
post about Rachel Rogers, and that's why I
Yeah.
have the book. And
He
that's why
was
I'm
so
here.
funny. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. And
I
then
love
one last person I'll say that is just like my heart and soul because she helped me connect to my soul. Her name is Annalisa Lemming, Analisa, and then last name Leaming. Annalisa Lemming. She calls herself the Soulful Ambition Coach. And she is a Broadway actress turned soulful ambition coach, life coach.
it.
And it's kind of like, it's even harder to explain than astrology, but she helped me. All these questions that your team sent me about, like, how do I know that I'm in alignment? How do I know that I'm connecting to soul? Like, so she taught me actual techniques to be like, okay, what is it to experience like the unknown, that nonverbal thing that you naturally experience, but like I had to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Um, and as opposed to just the analytical brain being like, well, this is how I should do it. And she has been like so imperative in my journey. So
Love
some
that.
ones that come to mind.
Where do we find Annalisa?
I think she's Annalisa Lemming on Instagram. And I think her website is annalisalemming.com, but I'll send you, but I'm pretty sure that's right. But I'll double check.
This is so cool. So when did the astrology like really like click? Because it sounds like you've been following these people for years.
Hmm.
But was it kind of always there and you just didn't realize it?
You know what's funny? I didn't find Denver Silverman until the end of 2023.
Mm,
And the same thing with Colin. I and Channy. Channy was the way in because I think in about 2022 I started listening to her. She has like weekly forecasts because I can't remember if I've really touched on this yet, but I think I did a little bit of like I think the reason I started turning to astrology, even though I'd been introduced to it over the years, but I was never one of those like kids that were really into it or something like that. I never really got really into it.
Yeah.
But then I was like, it was post-pandemic, and I was like, all right, I need all hands on deck. Like, I was going through my whole journey, and I was also like, obviously things are cray, and again, I need all hands on deck. I know because of my like yoga and meditating, like I know there's energy out there. I need to know how to make sure it's not all just like falling through my fingers, falling through the cracks, and how to utilize it. And so this felt like the easiest way for me to do it because again, my left brain can get with the whole like those are actual planets, in the sky type of thing. And so Chani was my way in, and I started listening to her forecasts. And then I actually had kind of like a dark time where I was doing a play in 2023 that was like very heavy material. I had a situation where I did not feel supported in that. I was living alone. I was living in a basement. It was tough. I was away from home and I was just like, holy, I felt trapped. I felt like I couldn't like leave or quit. I don't know. I didn't even know if I wanted to. I was just like, it was really tough. And India RE is one of my favorite artists. So that's another recommendation in case anyone doesn't know India RE. And her music calms me down. So I looked up her Instagram and my teacher, Deborah Silverman, was interviewing her for like a series. And so I started listening to like all the rest of the interviews and it was just kind of like my calming thing while I was going through that. And it just like happened to be about astrology and I was like semi interested in it. So that's what really sent me down the path. And then I lost my multiple freelance jobs and then I was like, well, and then I decided to take the course.
I love this for you, and now everyone else gets to benefit. You mentioned India Arie. She has a in my dark season, one of the songs that she has came up for me. It's called Break the Shell.
Oh, I don't remember that song. I feel like I know her whole catalog.
You gotta check it out. Let
Oh,
me double
man.
check and make sure that's the name of the song because she says that a lot, and I'm just assuming that maybe
That's
that's
what
what
it's
you're talking
called. Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Let me go to the handy dandy music machine over here and see now that I've said that. Um, this is wonderful. You're working on a few things. What you got going on?
Yeah, so, I have an offer right now for 60-minute astrology readings. I call it my initial birth chart readings, right? It's the way in. Everyone has to do it who works with me. We have to get the foundation. Even if you've had an astrology reading before, it is helpful because again, this elemental nature that I bring in is unique. I don't think a lot of other astrologers bring it in. So if you want to start to get a foundation of your life blueprint, that's what we're working on right now is your initial birth chart reading, your 60-minute astrology reading. And I'm so excited. Oh, I just love working with people. I just love working with millennials, Gen X, people transitioning, all that stuff. Yeah. And
Definitely
yeah.
feel like millennials need help right now. Like your age range, there's such a transition that happens, especially I think for the women and for the
The
men.
men.
My son is 33
True.
and I see it. You're like caught in between the what's the generation under you? What is that one?
Gen Z.
Gen Z and us, right? And we're the ones that are sometimes probably first generation college and a little bit away from all of the fear and everything that our parents were under, and but then at the same time wanting you all to do your best.
Wait, are
And
we talking about the ones like above, older than millennials?
I'm talking about my generation now.
Are you Gen X? Is
I don't know.
that what you are? Because I don't think you're, how old are you?
58. I think I'm
I think
Gen.
you're Gen X. I think you're Gen X. I don't think you're a baby boomer.
No, my mother is a baby boomer.
Yeah.
That part
Yeah,
I know, which
sorry,
I
I'm
don't know.
Gen X. And the Gen Z is like my little sister. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. And you're a millennial.
And I'm a millennial, yeah.
Right. And so you're in between that kind of old school
Yeah.
raise the kids and the what are they? X and
And old school and Gen Z, which is kind of like the future, I think. I mean,
right. And
like
you're
the early
seeing them
20s now. Yeah.
you're seeing them do everything. So you got the old technology, the telephone, like all of the things. Then the cell phone came out and things are
Yeah.
going warp speed and
Mm,
all of that. And you all are kind of caught in between.
yes.
I I want you to know to live your life. You are the only one responsible for your happiness, regardless of what anyone says. They've all gotten to live their lives in the way and the manner in which they want. You get the same. You have the permission slip. I have a whole permission slip for you, boo, to give you permission to do your thing, regardless of what anyone says.
I'm gonna take that. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm gonna give you your permission slip too. I don't know where it is right here on this stuff right now, but I'm gonna pull it up. It's all over the place because you need it. We need it. And so we created it. It's like here.
It's here. Yeah, there's totally a permission slip. Yeah.
So then it's called Break the Shell by India Ari.
Break the shell. All right.
See if I can play a little bit.
Yeah, please do.
Hear that? Can you hear it?
Barely.
Let me I may need to be for profit. Where's the sound? She could
There it
see
goes.
into my soul. Said she'd been watching and had some advice. She said shadows make you whole. A life without pain is open sheep's clothes. Life without pain. So you listen to the lessons that it you'll find the gold. It's time to break the shell. Life's gonna hurt.
Wait, it started going in and out again. Did you move it away? Oh, okay.
No, but it's good. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, we gotta, everyone's gotta listen to it at home.
It really is about life's transition and the fact that, like she says, shadows make you whole.
Yeah.
And
I'm
sometimes
so
you got
grateful that she has become as big of a deal that she had because I feel like there's, at least in the mainstream, there's like almost no one else like her, even now. So
yeah,
grateful for her.
she was before her time, and I feel like
Yes.
she's never really gotten her due.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I love that. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. Well, Hallie,
Yes, ma'am.
I have one last question.
Ready?
Do you have any questions for me?
Um, multiple come to mind.
We go max three.
Multiple wisps of questions. What do I want to ask you? Um, do you think we're going to survive as a human race, and do you think it matters?
That's a good question. No one's ever asked me that. As a human race,
Yeah.
I believe same thing like I believe for us internally that if that continues to happen where spirit allows each person to go to their higher conscious and conspire to get them there where they're supposed to be, I believe that what humanness looks like today won't exist in this form. It'll be more of um what the creator really had in mind,
Hmm.
right? Because I do believe so like the Bible, the Western Christianity and Bible, I believe there are some spiritual truths that are there that some people have experienced because they got there, right? They got to
Yep.
a sense of knowing that,
Right. People have gotten there.
yeah, but not everybody in that book. There are things that are not true, that are oppressive, I feel like, for women, things like that. Like grew up in religion, but I never wanted any parts of it because I never saw any parts of it that identified me to me. And so I do believe once that happens, and however long that takes, then yes, I believe that the human race will be more human, right? And concerned about each person and their well-being, and understanding that we all need each other, and more focused on the collective than the me, and the greed and the ego.
Yeah.
When that happens, it probably won't be in our lifetime, but I do believe that it will happen because I see the younger group generations getting
That's true.
closer to what we believe and what we've said that they can have, right? Like you can be and do all the things that you want to do, and things are now making that possible. Like really young people can just start businesses and be successful, and
Mm. They're
they,
breaking the mold. Yeah.
yeah, they don't have all the baggage either.
I know somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have the baggage that they're probably carrying from, you know, the great grandparent and the grandparent and the parent, right? I think they get further and further away from that, because a lot of what our history has is a lot of pain and greed,
Mm.
and and so it's built out of fear for
So,
most when they're teaching, right, and raising
yeah.
their kids. And so we're getting away from that. Like I didn't raise my son with fear, other than fear that I was going to jack him up if he didn't do what he's supposed to do.
Right.
But other than that, I told him he could be everything that he desires. And so he's pursuing that, and I'm grateful for that for him. And it doesn't, in that pursuit though, when you've got really big dreams, it doesn't come easy. There's a
All
molding that,
lives.
yeah, there's a molding that takes place. So the more that that molding happens that you talk about, and that you see in folks' charts, and they start to have the willingness to accept that,
Yeah.
that gives way to living the life that you're called to live, not someone else's life,
Mhm.
not seeing what other people are doing. I call it the business of you.
Yes, I agree wholly with what you are saying. And it also reminds me of the thing that you said about the shortcut and how like astrology is becoming more, I mean, it's like in the subways in New York. I'm like, okay, I don't know who made that decision, but now we're getting little things of it's becoming more widespread. And I do think like it's kind of like a shortcut. And it can also be a little bit of like a Trojan horse where people come in thinking it's like, oh, they're going to tell my future. And oh, it's like a personality test, like, even folks who don't really have interest in spirituality or even like therapy and psychology or self-awareness, like can sort of be introduced to that and then all of a sudden have some introspection.
Hmm.
That's huge,
I
and
think you did a good job today too, educating on what it is,
thank you.
right? And so do more of that also to help people real fully understand it.
Yeah.
Because I part of it is, right, people fear what they don't understand.
They fear they don't understand. Well, I was gonna say it's difficult to explain. It kind of is. I mean, like anything, it's better to just show it like we just did today. But also it's not just difficult to understand, it's that there's so many biases about it, which is fine. And I don't really judge people. For it, I do try to say that I don't like believe in astrology. I observe it, I see what's happening and then I see, oh, is that true for me? Because I think people are scared. Even people that know about it are a little scared to be like, oh, well, I don't want them to tell me who I am, And the other misconception is like your sun sign is not your yes, it is very indicative of your identity, but it's not your whole personality, you
Right.
know? And so that's part of it as well. And so I think, I at this point in my business, I think some education is important, but I'm not here to convince people. Like I think that is a little bit different because I don't know. I just
People have free will and free choice, and even
exactly. Like I don't need to convince you. If you're curious, then you're
right,
curious. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
even if they know and they knew and you shared what they wanted to know, they may not do anything with
Exactly. If they're not ready to receive it, then what's the point? Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes you know it and then it comes back around. It's like,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, love that. So
Yeah.
was there another question? Did I answer that
No, I
question?
think that was big enough. I appreciate you. I was just like, I have this, stellium and Pisces in front of me, 8 planets in water. I need to ask her like a spiritual question because, yeah.
Yeah, we could go all day if we're talking about spirituality. And that in itself is a big one that people don't even want to talk about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's all
I
good.
mean,
It's good.
yeah. Yeah. I definitely think yoga was the gateway for me to be even able to use that word. I
Mm.
didn't grow up with that at all. So
Hmm. Tell me a little bit more about that if you don't mind. How was yoga the gateway for you?
oh, well, yoga, I grew up as a dancer, highly ballet focused in high school, and then I transitioned into theater. And so I got introduced to yoga by a friend in college, and it was the first thing that challenged me to be still, even though we learn a lot about that in the arts, but it was in a different way. And I was somehow when I moved to New York, I was like, I know I have to go to a yoga studio. Like
Yeah.
I know I have to have that. And I think I was already sensing how much we can start to identify with our bodies as performers. And I
Mhm.
was like, I need to be having a way to relate to my body and movement in a way that is not result based. So that's where it was for me. That's
Mhm.
where yoga came in. And then it's sort of once I realized that the physical world was finite, whenever that was, I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'll pay attention to a little bit more of like this yoga philosophy thing. And I think it's just like anything. It's like the experience of doing astrology, or like you said, you have to try things. Like life is an experiment. What does it work for you? Some people love meditating, some people it's not for them.
Yeah.
So like trying things, and I think the experience of yoga more than anything, I couldn't explain it, but I was like, this is better. I'm better. I don't know why.
Yeah, and again, same thing. I feel like your higher self is always conspiring to get you where you're supposed to be. I was drawn to yoga too. I didn't know why. I've come to know that it's a ancestral practice of African lifestyle living. All of the things now that they're making mainstream, and they were doing it from the beginning of time. So it's
Mm.
like, okay, cool. Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much for this time together.
You are so welcome, and thank you for being so generous with your time and your energy. You hold space so beautifully. Like
Sure.
it's so like you're so flowy with it, but you also like I always felt taken care of. I was never like, oh no, where are we going? So thank you for sharing this gift with us.
Thank you for sharing your gifts with us and with me. Um, I'm blown away by all of this. Well, any last words for the audience before you go?
Um, I would just say, in whatever way you can, practice your inner knowing, like on the daily, because I think that that's going to be the only thing that I was going to say saves us in the end. I don't know exactly. Like as a human race on a personal level, try to get comfortable with being quiet and sitting with your discomfort, because at least for me, that's what's made sort of the idea of life and life ending bearable. I hope I'm right. We'll see. But that's what came.
I love that. I love that. I mean, if that's what you were supposed to say. Absolutely. My final words, you all. Thank you for being here. This was amazing. Tell all your friends, share it. She's got a beautiful offer, 60-minute astrology reading. The link is in the chat for you already. Share this video, like, subscribe if you'd enjoyed it. And Hallie, you also have your own podcast, right? Or YouTube channel?
Um, I don't. I do go live sometimes, but and I have a YouTube channel. You can but where you can find me is the best place right now is on Instagram at Hallie Brevetti, which we haven't said yet, but it will be in the show notes. Um and you can also find me on YouTube at Hallie Brevetti or YouTube/Hallie Brevetti. And how you spell that is HALLIE BREVETTI. So it's like Hallie, like from the Parent Trap, and then Brevetti, like Brevetti. Like if you said it like an Italian, that's how you spell it. Brevetti. Yeah. So Hallie Brevetti on Instagram. And that's where you can find all my offers and all my stuff. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. This was so much fun.
Me too. I feel the same way. Well,
Yeah.
thank you all for tuning in, and until next time, I want you to take good care of you.